Hey everybody, I wanted to hop on here real quick and just share a little bit about how to invite for a class that you're hosting and what are some of the things that you need to do during your class that you're hosting, okay? So I'm just going to try and keep this really short. I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm just going to share my screen, something called the Share Guide that doTERRA created. It looks like this, and you'll be able to go through it on your own time. But it goes through like basically why share doTERRA. And I just want to touch on that really quickly. The biggest reason that I like to share doTERRA is because the oils have helped my body and my family so much that I kind of feel like I have to share it almost. Like it would be unfair if I didn't tell people that have a headache or, seasonal allergies or whatever, if I don't tell them that I have a natural solution that's not hard on their body, that, isn't hard on their liver and all those things to process, I feel like I'm withholding information from them that they have a right to know about, and a lot of them don't know. So I like to try and just keep that in mind, because I think the biggest difficulty I had with sharing with people at first was feeling like, just caring a lot about my motive. I didn't want my motive to be money. I didn't want my motive to be something negative like that. I wanted it to really be about the people. And when I sat down and really started writing out, like, why do I want to share about this? Like, how does this help people? Honestly, like my answers were like, yeah, it helps people with headaches. It helps people with those allergies, with anxiety. It helps me get off of my anti-anxiety medications. Like, how can I not help people with that, right? So, especially when doTERRA has like little to no side effects when used as directed. So, in comparison to the anti-anxiety meds that I was on that could have caused heart problems and all these different things. And it's like, I want to tell people about this stuff so that they can get healing for themselves. So I hope that you take a minute and before you host a class, write down, why do you want to share with people? Like, what is it about doTERRA that, how has it helped you and your family? And then you are able to share your personal stories with others. And it really helps a lot. Plus you do earn rewards. As your contacts enroll, you earn free products. You can earn commission, which is really exciting. And so, why not have a passive income from something that you believe about? And I just feel like that's such a huge benefit. Like last month I made $1,400, and I've only been doing this very part-time, like while I'm still regaining my own health. And I really appreciate that about this business, that it's something you can do from home. It's something you can do when you have kids, something you can do when you don't have a lot of time, but you can really create a passive income that supports you even when you don't have time to sew into it. It's incredible. So first thing I want you to do, and it's on this list here, it's on this page, is I want you to actually write down a list of names. And so there's only 20 here. I recommend writing down at least 50. All of the people that you know, whether they live in your city or not, and just write down the people that you know. Start with your workplace. After work, move on to your friends, move on to your family. Just write down all of the names of people that you know. Don't worry at first about whether or not you think these people would be interested in oils, or even whether or not they already have oils. Just write down the names. The whole process is to help you remember that, like, you actually do have a lot of contacts. You know a lot of people. And therefore, you have a lot of people's lives on your hands that you can actually impact, which is really incredible. You can help them to have natural solutions to their problems. So write out their names. And from there, you're going to want to figure out, do I want to invite them to a class or a one-on-one? And the difference is, so a class is when if you're just a sharer, and that's what this video is for, I come and I set up everything for the class, and I run the class. And in a minute, I'll explain what your participation in the class is. And then a one-on-one is where you sit down with a friend or a family member, workmate, that kind of thing. And you sit down with them and you actually just go over this brochure with them. And when you commit to hosting a class, I'm going to mail some of these to you. So what I love about these brochures is mine's a little bent because I've used it so much, but it's literally numbered 1 all the way through in the back to 6. And all you have to do is read it with them. That's it. You give them one, you have one, and you read it together. And then you add in little bits as you go. It's really, really easy. I'll probably do a video where I just explain how to go through the trifold with somebody. But you go through this with them, and at the very back, it shows them some of the different most popular kits that they can go through. And then it also shows them exactly how to enroll. So you can help them enroll in the moment on your computer, maybe bring your laptop with you, or you can give them the brochure and they can enroll when they want to. It's really easy to do, so make sure that they do that. So one-on-ones are great because not everybody has a chance to come to a class. Maybe they're busy that night, but they're still interested in learning more. So you can do it at a time that is convenient for both of you. Lunchtime, even at work, or just making a time in the evenings or the weekends where you get to hang out. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you can maybe like connect during the day, that kind of thing, have like a play date with your kids and then go over the oils together. And what I would recommend is that you bring your oils with you. If you have a container to bring them in, great. If not, sometimes I just bring them in like a little bag that I can just carry around. But I like to bring, for sure, peppermint, lavender, lemon, On Guard, and those are the top ones that I like to bring because they have the greatest impact. And usually frankincense too. So because I want to really focus on frankincense and how amazing it is for the body, like it does so many good things. So I like to bring those. Sometimes I'll bring a Digest-Zen or a Zengest in Canada. I love to bring that one as well because it's specifically, like if anybody has any kind of stomach issues, it helps it within such a short period of time that you could literally give it to them and be like, here, go to the bathroom, rub this on your belly. They come back within a minute, their pain is going to be gone. So, if there's anything that's going to help them have a good experience, it's that. Sometimes I'll bring my deep blue rub especially for a friend that I know has been having joint pain, that kind of thing. And I let them try that. I actually get deep blue rub samples from doTERRA. You can get it from the US side. I think it's like $10 for 10, something like that. But they're great to carry around with you to be able to give to people to try. And I usually get them to try it while I'm there because I want them to experience it in the moment and then we can chat about it. But if not, then whenever I give them a sample to try, I usually tell them, okay, I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of days and just see how you're feeling. And that really works really well because usually when you follow up and you're like, hey, like, how are you feeling? How did that deep blue rub go? And they'll usually be like, oh my God, I had a lady last week who was like, I had joint pain in my shoulder for like several years. She put the deep blue rub on and she didn't have any pain for 2 days straight. Couldn't believe it. That was just with a little sample. So I love being able to give samples to people because of that. And then she was like such a believer. She bought a whole kit. She was totally into it. So we want to make sure we do that. Okay, so when you're inviting to your class, so first step obviously is to book a class, set a date and time. Usually like Tuesday night, if you're trying to do like an evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday usually works really well for people. Usually 7:30 is a good time to start. Classes take about an hour and a half, so they're done by 9 and people can still get home and get to bed on decent time. That's usually a good go. If you're doing an online class, I usually do it at 8 so that parents are able to put their kids to bed and then join because they can join from home, so that's perfect. But we're talking about live classes. So as we're doing this live class, what I would love for you to do is start inviting your friends. So you've made your list of 50 names of people you know. And they say if you want to get like 8 to 10 people to a class, you need to invite 15 to 30 people, which sounds like a lot. But a lot of people won't be able to make it. Maybe they're busy that night, but you're sewing into them. And so maybe they'll want to do a one-on-one with you. And that's the key. Anytime somebody says, I'm sorry, I can't make it to that class, that evening you can say, no problem. Like, are you free on Wednesday or do you have some time this week that we can hang out and I can just share with you in person, one-on-one? And usually people are super down for that. And, when you share with them, you want to say something like, my part will only take 30 minutes. It takes less than 30 minutes to read through this brochure with them and then to show them some of the oils, like ask them, okay, what are some of the things that have been harming your body? Or did any of the oils stand out to you that you want to try today? And you can let them try your oils right then and there, which is a great way to do it. Okay, so when you're inviting to a class, what you want to do, they have examples here, and so you'll take a look at that. But what I like to do is just be really real. I actually let them know, hey, going to be having some friends over on Wednesday night at 7:30. We're going to talk about essential oils, and we're going to learn about them, and then we're going to try them. And you'll have a chance to make your own blends for only $10 per blend. And then I tell them we have blends for headaches, we have blends for seasonal allergies, for joint pain, for anything that you think they might struggle with, digestive issues, anxiety, stress. So I usually list out a few things, and then I say, I'd love to have you come. Or I'll say, would you be interested in coming and learning about these? It's, again, I reiterate, it's totally a free class. There's no expectation to buy anything. If you want to buy a blend, it's $10 for you to try at home. And so, it's nice for people to be reminded that they're not going to be pressured into buying anything. That's really important. Nobody likes to feel pressured. And second, it's really important for them to know that they can get something if they want to. If they're like, oh my God, yeah, I get migraines all the time. Well, we have something for you that you can actually take home that night to try just a small portion of it before you invest in the bigger bottles. So there you go. People usually like that. And I'm usually pretty honest. I'll say, I usually say something like, we're going to have some wine and have some cheese and crackers and just hang out. It's going to be a really fun time. Say something like that. When I'm doing an afternoon class, I usually say we're going to have some tea and some coffee and we're just going to hang out. The truth is, you don't have to provide anything like that. You can totally skip that part. Just say that, we're going to learn about the oils, then we're going to get to try them, and then we're going to have a chance to make our own blends for our specific health needs, anywhere from headaches to, digestive issues, to anxiety and stress, to helping our kids not get sick. If you're interested, do you want to come? That kind of thing. So, I would just do that, and I would leave out anything about wine. Like, if you're not going to serve something like that, don't obviously give the expectation that you will. But don't feel bad if you don't want to. Like, it's totally fine not to serve wine. It's fine not to serve food. Most of my classes, especially at the beginning, I just served water. And we would just put lemon and lime or tangerine in the water. And that's how people would try the oils right from the beginning. And I actually really love that, honestly. It keeps it really simple. It's cost effective, and people get to try the oils right away. So that's a really great way to do it. So if that's how you want to do it, that's totally fine. I like that because all you have to do is make sure that you have enough glasses for the amount of people that are coming, and a big old pitcher of water, or just fill up the water glasses as needed. And that you've got some lemon or wild orange or lime or something like that they can put, a citrus oil that they can put in their water and taste it and try it. And usually people love it. Sometimes I'll get sparkling water, or we have a soda stream. So I usually provide a soda stream kind of sparkling water for people because the oils taste really good in the sparkling water. So that's another option. So that's how I invite people. I just keep it really real. The examples here are more for people who you don't really have a relationship with, like maybe at work, you don't really know them very well. And so the example is more for that. Like, you're saying like, hey, like, I don't know if you are interested in natural solutions, or like, have you ever heard of essential oils? And they're like, oh, I've heard of them. Oh, have you ever used them before? They might say no. And you could say, well, I'm actually having a free class this weekend, where I'm getting a lady to come and teach us like what the oils are about, what to use them for. And then we get to try them, and we can make our own blends for our own personal needs. And I like it because we have solutions for everything from like headaches to digestive issues to stress and anxiety to helping our kids not get sick. See, use the same things again. And so, I'd love for you to come. I think you'd have a blast. Would you be interested? So that's kind of how you would approach that. If you're messaging somebody cold turkey that you have not messaged in a long time, I usually give them a quick little update. Like, I'll say something like, hey, how are you? We haven't chatted in a long while. I hope things are going well. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I got sick last year. And since then, I've been using essential oils, and they've helped me so much to get better. Like, I was bedridden, and now I'm not. And because of that, I'm having a lady come to teach all of us how to use essential oils. Like, would you be interested in learning? And I explain to them again the format of the class, the different kinds of oils they can make. Then I say, would you want to come? Also, I'd love to catch up with you, and that has to be genuine. Don't say you want to catch up with them if you don't actually. So, be careful with that. But I really love people. I genuinely want to connect with them. So I'm not lying when I say that, and I usually make sure that I follow up, that I actually connect with them, regardless of whether or not they want to come or can come. It's like, okay, tell me what else is going on. So those are different ways you can do it. You can also call somebody up on the phone and be like, hey, Jess, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be having an event this Wednesday night at 7:30. I was hoping you'd be able to come. We're going to be focusing on essential oils. And like, I have this lady who's going to teach us all about them, what to use them for, how to use them. We're going to get to try them and just walk through the same format again and again. And then just ask them, would you want to join? Real simple, right? So those are the kind of different scenarios that you could invite somebody. I think just keep it so that it's natural for you. The main things you want to touch on are that it's free, that there's no expectation for them to buy anything, that it's an hour and a half so that they know how long to expect, when it is and where it is, obviously. And to make sure that you give them an example that they will relate to, because a lot of people don't know what essential oils can do. So they don't know that you can use essential oils for something like seasonal allergies. They had no idea, right? So if you know that they struggle with those kinds of things, make sure that you mention that they can make a sample to try of that will address their specific health needs. And that's why I usually give a range, because people usually, when I say those things, those are kind of the top things: the digestive issues, anxiety and stress, sleep problems, children getting sick, or like immune system boosting. What else? Pain, joint pain, that's a really big one. So I usually talk about those things because I know that that's something that people often struggle with. And so that'll draw them in. They're like, oh, I have joint pain. You mean you have a natural solution for that? That's not going to give me like bruising like doterra does? Okay, So we want to help people because our products are really great. They really do help, and they're all natural. Okay, so this next section is all about sharing anytime, like taking your oils with you. So if you have decided you're going to host a class, I'm going to give to you a sample, a keychain here during your class. So you get to have this keychain where it comes with these adorable little bottles. They're like little, you can see them here. And so you get to have these samples. I would fill them with oils that you use on a regular basis. Some of the ones I just mentioned, like digestion, lavender, lemon, peppermint, frankincense, anything like that you use regularly. Put those in your oils, in your little vials, and have them with you all the time, so that if somebody is like, oh man, I have a headache right now, you can be like, oh, here, do you want to try this peppermint? It's going to help so much. Just roll it all the way around wherever it hurts. And you're going to notice your headache's going to be gone in a few minutes, Like, I'm really feeling low energy. Here, put a drop of peppermint on the roof of your mouth. That kind of thing, So, or I'm feeling really stressed. Here, take this lavender and breathe it in. You're going to feel so much better. So have those oils with you so that you can share them with people. And then here, those are the samples, the deep blue samples, and these here are the toothpaste samples you can also give out to people. But I find the deep blue ones are the best, as well as having the physical oils with you that you can share with people. It goes over some sampling success and how you follow up with people if you did give them a sample. This might not apply to everybody, but have a read through it. The most important part here, and this is what you want to do to prepare for your class, beyond inviting 30 people at least, make sure, one other thing when you're inviting is to let people know that there's only either 8 or 10 spots, depending on how many people you can facilitate in your house. I actually really can only facilitate, I could probably facilitate more, but I usually like to keep my classes around 6 to 8 people because everybody then can fit around the table, and that's so nice. So either you basically, like, if you have a table that everybody can sit around, that's perfect. If you have a coffee table that people can also sit around, then that's really great. But we want to have a table that people can rest the oils on while they're making them. And ideally, ideally you need to have, like, let's say you have a table and then a coffee table. It should be that people will be sitting around. It should actually all be in the same area, so that wherever me or you are standing to share during the class, that we can stand in one spot and everybody can see and hear us. That's really important. So think about that. Look in your kitchen or your living room or however it is. If it's open concept, it really helps a lot. But, for me, I know I can fit 6 people around my table and 4 people around my coffee table. So I can have a 10-person class maximum comfortably, right? And I can stand in the middle and I can look at both people and I can share. So I really like to do that. When you know how many people you can have, let people know. I only have room for 10 people in this class, but I'd love for you to come. First come, first serve, that kind of thing. And then tell people as well, I always do a promotion, that if somebody brings a friend, as long as they let you know in advance so you can count them down, that they will automatically receive a free wild orange essential oil during their class. So make sure to tell them that. You get a free wild orange essential oil if you bring a friend. You have to tell me in advance so that I make sure I have enough products for everybody, but invite a friend, bring them along. So that's really important. So when you have decided how many people you're inviting, anybody that you have that's like an overflow, like let's say you have 10 people confirmed and now you've got 5 more people who want to come. You can do one of 2 things. One, you can tell them, hey, you know what? My first class is full. And let's say like I'm coming to do your classes for you, add a class on the same day. So if you were planning to do a class at 2 in the afternoon, add a class at 10 in the morning or at 6 at night or at 4:30 or something like that. Like pick a time where we could start another class. And you want to make sure that you leave at least a half an hour after one class before you do another class so that people can mingle and chat and stuff and nobody feels like they're just kicked out of your house. But you can add another class to the same day. Just let me know. Just double check with me first. Hey, are you free to do another class that day? Probably I will be. And so then we can just add in another class. I've done this so many times when I had Noelle come and do my classes. I would often do like a 10 a.m. and a 2 p.m. class, and that worked perfectly. So that way then I could get like 6 people at each class and it wasn't overwhelming, and it was really nice. I really like doing those classes. So if you have that issue, book another class or tell people, my class is full, but why don't we meet to do a one-on-one, and ask them, would this time or this time work for you? So make sure that you always give them 2 options. People love their options. So when you tell them, would Monday at 2 or Thursday at 7 work for you? Usually, actually, to be honest, I give 2 days. Would Monday or Thursday work better? They usually say, let's say they say Thursday. Awesome. Would daytime or evening be better for you? Evening. Great. Would 7 or 8 be better for you? 8. Perfect. Okay. I'll see you Thursday at 8. And so that's usually how I do it and how I book my one-on-ones. So that's, that usually works best. And you can just do one-on-ones with those people if you don't have time to add in another class. The other option is, if you have that many people who are really interested, you could just run your own class. And I do have a thing where if you will give me your hundreds, basically from the time that you decide, yep, I'm going to do these classes, I want to do this as a business. You tell me that. And when you do your 100 names, when you get your 100 names into me within 48 hours of that decision, I will actually help get you a class starter kit so that your entire first class is set up and you're good to go. Okay? So let me know if you decide you want to do your own classes. It's so easy. You read the brochure, same as you would for a one-on-one. And the only difference is in a class is that you help people make their own samples to take home with them, and you get to be paid for that, which is awesome. So I love it. You're not paying to sample, you're actually paying for their samples. And I think that's really brilliant. It makes it way more cost effective for you. So you need to write out your 50 names list. You need to invite about 30 people, being really natural. If you get more than, however many people you can fit in your space, that are committed to coming, then you tell them, like, book another time that they can do it, basically. Like, book another class that day or book a one-on-one at another date. And then you're going to work on sharing your story. So here are some questions that I love on the screen here. What led you to doTERRA? What concerns were you or your loved ones dealing with? And what frustrations did you experience due to those concerns? Excuse me. So you're going to want to write out those answers. For me, it was because I was bedridden. That's a really obvious one. But for Marcel, it was because he was really low energy throughout the day. He would get to the end of his workday and he would be exhausted. He wouldn't be able to make dinner because he was so tired, that kind of thing, right? So, he was just having a really hard time with that and feeling really frustrated by that. He also had really bad seasonal allergies, and we moved to a dairy farm where he's allergic to everything. So obviously concerned about that too. So those were his concerns. What positive experience have you had with the oils and the products? So for Marcel, he started taking Lifelong Vitality Pack, And within 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, he started noticing he had way more energy. Within 3 weeks, he was like feeling so good that he was making dinner. He was making lunch for the next day. He had no problem making my brother's lunch for the next day as well. And like, doing all the things that he needed to do. He wasn't exhausted anymore. And with his seasonal allergies, he noticed a difference within a few minutes of taking the oils. And he didn't feel all sluggish or like dry mouth, like cotton mouth from the product. So he was like, this is better than a Claritin or a Benadryl. Like he loved it, right? So it made a big difference for him. And then the last question is, how have doTERRA products changed your life? So what was life like before? What is life like now? So before, Marcel was exhausted. I had really bad seasonal allergies. Whenever he would take a Claritin, he would feel a cotton mouth and kind of like dreary and felt a bit weird about driving even in it. Now he's got tons of energy. He's feeling really good. He can take the doTERRA oils for his seasonal allergies. So his seasonal allergies are totally under control. He doesn't feel cotton mouth or tired or whatever with them. It's amazing. So that's a really simple example. My example's a little bit longer, and I have to be really careful. Like I usually pick one or two things from my really big story of what the oils have done for me. So I usually pick something like sleep and digestion, or I'll pick adrenal fatigue and inflammation. Like I usually try to pick one or two things out of the like 12 things that the oils have helped me with because you want to keep it short. You don't want to overwhelm people. And then as people kind of mention something, you can be like, yes, it's helped me for that too, right? Actually, when I did this, it did that for me, etc. So you want to write this down because when you host a presentation, the first thing is that, wait, where is it? Down here. Here we go. This one shows you what is your part. So what you're going to do is you're going to introduce me, the presenter, for 1 to 2 minutes. So what an introduction usually involves is the presenter's name and how you know them and why people should listen to them. Those are the major 3 things. So when I introduce Noelle, I say, this is my colleague, Noelle Gruber. I've known Noelle for 8 years. We used to actually live together in Hyde Park several years ago before either one of us were married. And we really had a good time together. But during that time, I saw how Noelle struggled so much with migraines. She would be out of commission for days at a time. And last year, we reconnected after not having chatted for a while just because we had moved to different cities. And she told me that she had found a solution to her migraines and she doesn't even get them anymore. And I was like, what? Like, you used to be out of commission for 2 days straight. So she started sharing doTERRA with me. It was doTERRA oils that helped her overcome her migraines. So she has a plethora of information about these oils because they really changed her life and allowed her to be the mom that she always wanted to be and that kind of thing as well. Plus, she's a research scientist, so she has a lot of background in this area as well. So regardless, Noelle is amazing. We're so glad to have her here. That's basically what I would say. Something along those lines. So you pick a couple of things about the person. Maybe you hear about their story, or maybe you just share, like, I know for me, like you could say, like, Ruth has overcome a lot of health challenges with doTERRA oils. And I really believe that she has a lot to tell us about this, that kind of thing. So real simple, doesn't need to be long. Then you're going to share your 2-minute personal experience. So basically, again, this is what life was like before. This is what life is like now. And you want to kind of focus on those two. And so, the other 2 questions help you hone in those 2 answers. So life was, I used to have seasonal allergies. I used to have migraines. I used to be stuck in bed all day, whatever it was. My daughter used to complain of leg pain. My son never slept at night, any of those things. To now, we are feeling amazing. We have energy. My son sleeps at night. My daughter doesn't have the same level of pain, or when I give her this doTERRA oil, it helps her really quickly, like those kinds of things. So have your 2-minute personal experience ready to go. And then you'll just say, we're going to hand it over to Ruth, who's going to be teaching us today. Thanks for coming, Ruth. That kind of thing. And then at the end, I will give an opportunity for people to enroll if they want to. And enroll means to get a wholesale membership with doTERRA and get the oils. So I will give them a chance to do that. And at the end, what I do is I hand out the forms that they fill out if they wanted to get started. And then usually I like to walk around and meet with every single person individually and just say, okay, what are we working with? What are some of your health challenges? How do we overcome those together? Like that kind of thing. And I help them pick the oil pack that best suits their needs. So I go through that together with them. And what I would love is if you were doing the same, walking around, just saying, so like, what do you think? How are you feeling? Like, what are some of your health concerns? And have them like write down what their health concerns are so that by the time I get to them, it's a little bit faster of helping them work through it. But you can do the same thing. You can help them by saying, okay, like, either get the Modern Essentials app on your phone so that when they say, I have migraines all the time, maybe you don't know what to do for migraines. You just simply look in the app. Just say, okay, let's look it up together. Look at the migraines. Or I will always bring a book as well that you can look it up in. So you can just bring that book around with you and be like, let's look up what oils we need for your specific health needs. What are your health needs? And then you help them find the oil and you make a list with them on their pages or on their brochure. There's usually a space, where is it, on the front, where they can write down. That's usually where I get people just like write down what are your health concerns, and next to it we'll write down the oils that you need. And that way then when we look at the kits, we can see which oils are in the kits that are of the oils that you need, which kit will best suit your needs, that kind of thing. So that's usually how it goes. And then what's really important is that you follow up because they're your friends. So I do follow up. I do send emails to people afterwards, but it's really important that you also follow up within a couple of days and just call them and say, hey, Julie, what did you think of the class? How was your experience with the oils? Have you had a chance to try the ones you made the other day? And just ask them how it's going because, I used to not do that because I was scared of being pushy. And then I realized I was doing them a disservice because 9 times out of 10, they had a really positive experience and they actually were really excited to share with me, but they don't want to bother me, which is so funny, right? Like we have this culture of like, don't bother each other. So let's break that and let's just be friends and chat with the people that tried them and say, how did it go? Like one of my friends that wasn't really chatting with me about the oils and I was scared I was being too pushy. I finally asked her like, hey, did you have a chance to try the oils? She's like, yeah, actually my kids got sick last weekend and I rubbed the flu balm on their feet and it went away their colds went away within a couple of within a day. And so she was like blown away and she's like, actually, I really want to get started. I'm just, budget is an issue. So we were able to work together to find the oils that she specifically needed to start with on a budget that made sense for her. And so, we want to do that for people. We want to help them. And I'm able to do that, but so are you. It's not actually hard. All you have to do is have the price of the products and I'll send that to you. And then once you have that, you just have to be able to do math, right? So pretty simple. So there you go. You want to change lives. So what you will earn if you want to take care of your people after they enroll, meaning you teach them how to use their oils. You can buy welcome packs from me. I actually don't know the price off the top of my head, but I do make a welcome pack that I give to people whenever they enroll. So you can buy those welcome packs from me if you want to get started and then eventually buy your own products that you make your own welcome packs if you wanted to start this as a business. But to start, I make the welcome packs. I give it to them. And therefore, we split the commission in half because to pay for my welcome pack. So that's usually how it works. If you want to just earn the commission, you want them to be enrolled underneath you, you want to get the 20% commission for the first 2 months that they're buying anything, that's totally fine. You can buy the welcome pack from me so that you can do that, okay? It's really important people get the welcome pack because it introduces them to other, I don't have one handy to show you, but it basically has like a shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, a deep blue rub, and a perfume mix that I make, as well as they get one of their oils free that night when they make it. So at the class, if they enroll it on the spot. So that's usually how it works. So that's five things that they get to try for the future to see if they like those kinds of oils, etc. So one of my cousins, Brandy, hosted a class and she had 10 people come, and I believe 8 out of the 10 people got a wholesale membership and started with a kit, which was awesome. And they're all loving the kits. They're having the best time with them. But she made almost $400 that night, which was incredible, So it's amazing because it can pay for the kit that you got, and it can also pay for some of the oils that you have coming up, because as you have people enrolled underneath you, when they keep ordering in the future, you continue to get a commission off of it. So that helps to pay for your oils that you're getting every single month, right? So for you, if you want to have people underneath you and you want to get the commission on a monthly basis, then you need to make sure that you're placing a 100 PV order every single month, because that's how you earn your commission. What's beautiful about that is because in order for you to get paid, you have to pay your 100 PV, right? So you can actually write that 100 PV off at the end of the year as a business expense, because you wouldn't earn your commission without it, which is really cool. So I know you're paying for it up front, but you get to write it off at the end of the year, and you get to earn those commissions as you go, which is really great. If you are just wanting to do this, like, Ruth, I just want to host a class and I would like to earn a little bit of like a couple gifts, but I'm not really worried. No problem. Like, you host the class, I give you a free keychain, so you have your oils with you all the time. But I can also split that commission with you as a gift. So you can get those commission, you can actually get it in cash, or you can get it in oils if you prefer that. So let's say we have 5 people enroll, and then I would split that commission with you. Let's say that you end up with $100 of commission. You can get that in oils or in cash, whichever you want, whichever you decide you need. And that way then, but I take care of them moving forward. Therefore, I get the commissions if anything they purchase in the future. So it's up to you how you want to do it, okay? A couple of options that I've already explained. What's important is that you let me know. So again, your steps when you have a class, we've booked a date and a time. You want to make your list of 50 names, and then you want to invite at least 30 people to your class. Just be really natural, be honest when you invite them, that kind of thing. Let them know what to expect. Let them know it's free. Let them know that there's no pressure to buy anything, but if they want to make their own blends to try at home, that they can for $10 a blend. And what else? If your class fills up, book another class or start booking your one-on-ones with people. Because again, as they enroll, you earn commissions for that. So make sure that you book your one-on-ones and help these people to get the oils into their home. We want to see people like with a natural solution for their problems. That's the most important part. And at the very end of things, all you need to do is make sure that you have your story set, so you can introduce me and that you can tell your story, which is about 2 minutes long. This is what life used to be like. This is what it's like now. And I'm really excited about doTERRA. I'm so glad you guys are here, basically, right? Then we go ahead, we do the class, we read the brochure, and you'll be able to see me doing that. And then from reading the brochure, we teach them how they can enroll. Then we do the make and take part, and then they have the chance to enroll. And so we just need to make sure that we can chat with them at the end and go around and see, which oils they're going to need for their specific health needs. And so we find out what is your health need, and then we look up which oils they're going to use for that. It's really great if the space can be, tidy. It doesn't have to be perfect, but ideally not stuff everywhere, and then ideally as well, it doesn't have to be spotless though, guys. Like, I'm not asking for spotless, that's for sure. Just clearly there's a space on a chair for you to sit your butt down, it's not piled full of stuff that you have to move first. And that the table is clear so that we can set up, the different oils that they're going to use. And ideally there'd be no kids, unless your kids are okay to sit down and be quiet during it. So because I have allowed kids in the past, and what I found is that moms are just so distracted. And even if it's not your kid, you find it so distracting because you care about this kid and you want to make sure that they're happy, that they're enjoying their time as well, and that life is good for them. And so, I've just found it's a lot easier when the kids aren't there for the class. And so then people have a chance to, also the class goes a lot faster when there's no kids. It's an hour and a half for sure, tops, when there's no kids. It can be like a 2.5 hour class if there are kids involved. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. All right. Okay. If you have any questions, you can message me. My email is ruthdavispreston@gmail.com. You can ask the question on the Ask Questions section of my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/RuthDavisPreston. And you have my cell probably, so give me a call, okay? I love you guys, and I'm so glad that we're going to be doing a class together. It's really exciting. It is so fun to see people's lives changed through these classes, so can't wait. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a really good day. Bye.